Step aside. I need to come in. We're running a narcotics investigation, and this is the address.
You don't have a warrant, officer. You're not coming in.
Don't do this. If you're clean, it shouldn't be a problem. Let me in.
I know my rights. You can stand out here all day, but you can't search without paperwork.
Yeah? Sounds like you're hiding something, whatever it is.
I know my rights. You can stand out here all day, but you can't search without paperwork.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Hey, down, hands behind your back. You're going to regret it.
Late evening in the suburbs is usually quiet in a way that feels earned. The sun drops low, the street lights flicker on one by one, and the whole neighborhood settles into that calm rhythm of people coming home, cooking dinner, and closing their curtains for the night. Neatly trimmed lawns, parked cars lined up like they belong, porch lights glowing warm against clean white siding, and then a patrol car rolls in and stops like it owns the street. A heavy knock hits a front door, deliberate, loud, impatient. The door opens, and a voice immediately pushes forward. Ma'am, step aside. I need to come in." The woman doesn't move. Her tone is aggressive. "You don't have a warrant, officer. You're not coming in." "Don't do this," the officer snaps. "If you're clean, it shouldn't be a problem. Let me in." "I know my rights," she replies. "You can stand out here all day, but you can't search without paperwork." The officer's voice turns sharper, more personal. "Yeah, sounds like you're hiding something." And in that moment, right at the doorstep, this stops being a check and becomes what it always was underneath, a power play. Before we go any further, comment where in the world you're watching from, and make sure you subscribe because tomorrow's story is one you don't want to miss. Because what you're about to hear isn't a story about a criminal getting caught. It's a story about a racist cop getting exposed, on camera, by the one person he never expected to challenge him. His name was Officer James Carter, and Carter walked up to that house thinking it would be routine. A quick check on a suspected address, a little intimidation, a little pressure. Maybe get inside without doing the paperwork the law requires. He'd done it before. He'd gotten away with it before. But the woman behind that door wasn't who he expected. Her name was Monica Ellis, 38 years old. Calm, composed, and armed with something Carter hated more than anything: knowledge, and what followed would ruin his career. Carter's pattern. Inside the department, Carter had built a reputation the hard way, one complaint at a time, targeting black residents, assuming guilt without evidence, turning investigations into intimidation, using his badge like a weapon more than a tool. Internal reports showed the pattern clearly. Doorstep checks, where he pushed for entry without probable cause. Aggressive questioning that escalated fast. Protocol ignored when the resident didn't look like they belonged. Repeated accusations delivered with zero facts to back them up. He'd been flagged more than once. But every time the consequences evaporated. Paperwork. Coaching. A meeting behind closed doors. Then right back to the street with the same confidence. Because the system had taught him something dangerous. He could keep doing it. And that night, Carter was feeling especially sure of himself. He strode up the quiet suburban sidewalk, boots tapping sharply on the pavement. The sun was dipping below the horizon, throwing long shadows across manicured lawns and clean driveways. He stopped at the house he believed matched the address on his file, straightened his uniform like this was a stage, and knocked like he expected fear to answer. The door swung open slowly, and there she stood, Monica Ellis. No panic, no confusion, no "yes, officer." Just steady eyes and a calm posture that instantly told Carter he wasn't dealing with someone he could push around. "Good evening," Carter said, voice firm, scanning the porch like he was already searching for something to justify himself. "I'm Officer James Carter. I'm here to check this residence for a case I'm working." Monica tilted her head slightly. "A case?" she asked. "I'm listening." Carter's jaw tightened. "We're investigating illegal activity in the area," he said. "I need to verify some details about the occupants. Step aside so I can come in." Monica didn't step aside. I don't believe you have the right address, she said carefully. Can you tell me why you're here, specifically? Carter's eyes narrowed. This is the house on the file. I don't need to explain myself further. Step aside. Monica's voice stayed level, almost surgical. You said it's a case, but the people you're looking for aren't here. This is a mistake. Carter scowled, the kind of expression that shows up when an officer isn't used to being questioned. I know this is the right place, he said. Step aside, now. Her stance didn't change. Officer, I've lived here for years. I'm happy to cooperate within the law, but I won't let you enter without proper cause. That sentence hit Carter like an insult. Not because it was rude, but because it was firm. And Carter didn't do well with firm. People who weren't hiding something usually folded under his tone. They started talking too much. They got nervous. They begged him to believe them. Monica did none of that. So Carter did what he always did when his badge didn't work the way he wanted. He tried to make her refusal sound like guilt. People who aren't hiding something don't act like this, he said, voice edged with accusation. I'm not hiding anything, Monica replied. I know my rights. You're at the wrong house. Leave or get a warrant. Carter's face flushed with disbelief. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. He expected fear. He expected compliance. He expected the door to open wider. Instead, he was being calmly blocked by a woman who refused to let him break the law on her doorstep. Step aside, Carter repeated, louder now. I'm here on official business and I won't be ignored. Monica's expression didn't falter. You're making a serious mistake, she said, deliberate. You're not the first officer to assume authority over someone who knows the law, and you won't be the last to regret it. The silence stretched. The air got heavier, and Carter's fists clenched, not because he had a legal reason to act, because his ego was bruised. He took a step forward, pushing closer to the threshold like proximity could replace probable cause. Monica didn't flinch, and right then, Carter realized something that made him even angrier. He wasn't in control. When threats replaced law, Carter's hand hovered near his belt. I don't have time for games, he snapped. Step aside, now. I'm not playing games, Monica said. You came to the wrong address. I'm asking you to leave or show me a warrant. That's the law. Then she added the line that made Carter's eyes flicker. Do you want to follow it, or do you want this to get worse for you? Carter's pride demanded he strike back. Don't talk to me like that, he growled. I'm in charge here. Step aside. I respect your position, Monica replied, calm and measured. But authority doesn't make you right, and it doesn't give you the right to violate someone's rights. Carter's mind raced, trying to build a justification out of nothing. He told himself she was lying, hiding something, protecting someone, anything that would let him do what he wanted without feeling like the villain. He stepped closer again, tension spiking at the doorway. You think you can talk to me like that because you know your rights? He snapped. You're lucky I'm not taking you in right now. Monica's eyes didn't waver. Go ahead, she said softly. Try it. You'll see how badly you miscalculated tonight. That stopped him. Not because he suddenly became professional. Because nobody talked to him like that. Not without fear. Not without shaking. Her calm defiance rattled him. Doubt flickered for a split second. Then the habit of control took over. He reached toward the door as if he could push past her. You're obstructing an officer, he barked. I am not, Monica replied, holding her ground. You're the one in the wrong. If you continue, you're the one violating the law. The street felt like it held its breath. Blinds shifted. Porch lights clicked on. People were sensing something was happening, without seeing all of it yet. Carter's hand twitched toward his radio. He wanted backup. But even he knew, backup doesn't create a warrant. Backup doesn't create probable cause. Backup just creates more witnesses to misconduct. You don't get it, do you? Carter said, voice rising. Step aside. Then you really don't understand, Monica said, sharper now, warning instead of calm. I've dealt with people like you my entire career. You underestimate me because of my appearance. That's your first mistake. You think your badge makes you untouchable. It doesn't. Carter froze, because her words didn't sound like a threat. They sounded like experience. The cameras come out. Carter fumbled with his radio, trying to call this in like a routine situation. But that's when the first twist hit. A neighbor stepped out, discreetly filming on a phone, not yelling, not interfering, just recording. The quiet suburb suddenly became a witness. Carter saw the phone and snapped like a man who knew evidence was dangerous. "Turn that off," he barked. But his voice didn't carry the same command anymore. It sounded nervous. Monica didn't even look at the neighbor. Her focus stayed locked on Carter. "You've made another mistake," she said quietly. "Everything you do from here is being watched. Every word, every move." Carter took a shaky step back. Not because he wanted to, because he felt the weight of being seen. Then Monica leaned slightly into the doorway, asserting dominance without force, without volume, just presence. "And when this goes public," she added, "you'll be the one answering for it, not me." Carter's mind raced, fury and fear colliding. He looked down the street and realized it wasn't one phone anymore. People were watching, some from porches, some from windows. A street that used to feel private now felt like a courtroom. The second twist. A second neighbor, an older man across the street, stepped onto his porch holding a small camera and aimed it directly at Carter's face. No words, just a lens. Carter's confidence wavered in a way it never had before. He reached for his radio again. "Dispatch, I need backup." "Stop," Monica said, firm. "Do you really want to make this worse? Everything you're doing is illegal, and you know it." Carter froze, because she was saying out loud what he usually counted on people being too scared to say. And then came the second twist that boxed him in completely. Monica's phone lit up, a live feed. She had been recording too. Not as a bluff, not as a threat, as a safeguard, a backup. Carter had assumed she'd be powerless. Instead, she had anticipated him. "You really think you're in control here?" Monica said quietly, voice cutting through the stillness. "Everything you're doing is evidence." Carter swallowed hard. I'm just doing my job," he muttered. "Your job doesn't include harassment," Monica replied. "It doesn't include bias, intimidation, or entering the wrong home." And Carter felt it, the pressure building like a storm behind his ribs. The weight of old complaints, old warnings, old moments where he got away with it. Because this time, he wasn't dealing with someone who would let the narrative get rewritten. The final twist, Carter hesitated. Half step forward, half step back, like his body didn't know which version of him was going to win. The bully? Or the officer who knows he's about to get caught? Monica's voice dropped lower, colder. "You should leave now," she said. "Final." Carter's hands trembled slightly. One wrong move and this would explode. And then the final twist landed, clean and irreversible. Monica stepped slightly aside and held up a small official card. Not just an ID, not just a credential, something that carried real weight, real authority, that could follow him into reports, investigations, and consequences he couldn't talk his way out of. "You have a choice," Monica said, eyes locked on him. "Leave now and this ends quietly. Push further. And every action you've taken against people in this neighborhood comes to light. Every complaint, every biased stop, every threat, and you will answer for it." Carter's lips parted like he wanted to speak, but no words came. because he finally understood. He wasn't standing over a citizen. He was standing in front of accountability. 10 seconds passed. The quiet suburban street held its breath. Then Carter exhaled, long, shaky, and turned away. His boots sounded heavier now as he retreated down the sidewalk. No victory speech, no final threat. Just a man walking away because he realized the cameras weren't leaving. Monica watched him go, calm and steady. Neighbors stayed in place, phones still up, capturing the retreat. The power reversal wasn't loud. It was absolute. The fallout. But the story didn't end when Carter disappeared around the corner. Because Monica's phone pinged. The footage was already circulating. Neighbors had uploaded their angles. The live feed had been clipped, shared, reposted, commented on. The narrative was spreading faster than Carter could contain. That same night, internal complaints were filed. Within days, a formal review opened. And once investigators started looking, really looking, they didn't just find one bad night. They found a pattern, repeated bias, repeated intimidation, repeated misuse of authority. Within days, Carter was suspended. Within weeks, the investigation expanded and pulled in old incidents the department had ignored or quietly buried. And this time there was no lack of evidence, excuse. Because the evidence had a timestamp, and witnesses, and multiple camera angles. Carter's career never recovered. What began as a wrong-door encounter turned into a reckoning, a public exposure of arrogance and bias, and a reminder that authority without accountability collapses fast when someone knows the law and refuses to be bullied. Monica closed the door behind her and finally took a small breath. The street returned to quiet, but the impact didn't fade. Because sometimes the biggest shift isn't a dramatic confrontation. Sometimes it's one person standing firm at the threshold and saying calmly, "No warrant, no entry, not today." If you believe justice can prevail, when courage meets accountability, subscribe and turn on notifications, because tomorrow's story is another one you're not going to want to miss.